Welcome to today's episode of the J&J podcast. I'm Jamie.
This is Jameson.
We want to welcome all of our listeners in. Got quite a few topics to get into today, but obviously the one topic that is on everybody's mind, and we're going to start with the NBA. It's the NBA draft lottery. Uh, I have my thoughts, but Jameson, I'm gonna kick it off. Let you kick it off with the draft lottery. The one thing that I will say is, how does a team that has a 1.8% chance keep getting selected? Because this is now the second team that has had that happen very recently. So I'll lay that out for you, and you can take it from there.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest. I'm still flabbergasted. I'm very disappointed, especially us being Lakers fans. It's like Nico Harrison actually looks like a genius, given what happened and transpired last night with the draft lottery. And here's what I'm gonna say: it's really unfortunate for teams like the Hornets or like the Jazz or like the Wizards. It's like, what's the point in stinking up the joint throughout the regular season if you're not even gonna be guaranteed a good draft pick? It's like literally before the draft lottery, the Jazz, the Wizards, and the Hornets all had a 14% chance to actually win the draft lottery. Guess how many teams out of the three I just named actually got a top four pick?
Uh,
One.
one of them.
One.
Yeah.
Literally the Hornets, and like I said, it's not like they got the second pick. The Hornets literally got the fourth pick. The Hornets
Oh,
got
that's
the
right.
fourth
Because
pick. Yep.
the 76ers
They got the third pick. San Antonio got the
and
second
San
pick,
Antonio.
which I don't
Yeah.
understand how you get Wemby and then
Come on,
literally
man.
literally a season. And granted, it's not like the Spurs were that bad. The Spurs were a
Hmm.
couple games away from honestly if Wemby wouldn't have got hurt, injured as early as he did with like a month or two left in the season, they had a chance to make the play in. So San Antonio literally went from getting they got Victor Wembanyama last year, and then this year they're literally probably going to get Dylan Harper, which is absolutely insane, by the way. And then for the Dallas Mavericks, they were literally in the play-in. They were literally in the play-in. How in the world does a team that's in the play-in end up with the number one draft pick? And this is not like this is a year where, it's a mid-draft class. Overall, it kind of is, but, the prized possession is Cooper Flag. So now you have a team that was in the play-in for what were they, like the 10th seed? I mean, by the way, they did get mollywopped by the Grizzlies, but that's neither here
True.
nor there. You now have a team that's going to have Kyrie Irving back when he's healthy, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flag, Derek Lively, Max Christie, Najee Marshall. Like, are you kidding me?
Forgot about Gafford.
Well, I think Gafford
Unless
will
he
be a
gets
Laker.
traded.
Cough, cough.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
neither here
Right.
nor
Right.
there, though.
Wink. Wink.
Yeah, wink, wink, Rob Pelinka.
Hmm.
But it's baffling to me. I just really feel like me, I'm rooting for the Charlotte Hornets, and it's like you can't get worse than the season that they had. Given LaMelo still got hurt again, Brandon Miller was dealing with injuries, the whole nine. It's like Cooper Flag would have been perfect not only for that team. It's like you then have a big three of young talent with LaMelo, Cooper Flag, and Brandon Miller. But also think about what that would have done for ticket sales in that market. It's like Dallas was gonna sell tickets. How do you literally trade Luka Doncic and then get rewarded with the next coldest white boy? I just don't understand it. Just come on, bro. Like, man, I'm telling you, if people didn't think that the NBA was rigged before, especially like the NBA draft lottery, like this dates all the way back to Patrick Ewing in like 1985. It's like
Hmm.
people thought that draft lottery was rigged. Of course, the one for LeBron, people think it was rigged. Derrick
Zion
Rose,
Williamson.
Zion Williamson, Derrick Rose going back to Chicago. It's like
Hmm.
Victor Wembanyama ending up on the Spurs. That's also a year
Hmm.
where the Hornets got the second pick. It's like these teams are flat out getting bamboozled. It's like there's no point in you stinking up the joint. You don't get rewarded for it. And we've talked about this in the past. It's really unfortunate for a team like the Wizards or a team like the Hornets, where it's like the only way they're going to be able to rebuild their franchise and sell tickets and be able to market their players is through the draft. No free agents are coming to Charlotte, bro. No free agents are
That's
coming to Utah or the Wizards. That's just not going to happen.
and
But
that's
your
what I was
thoughts?
actually. Yeah, that's what I was actually about to say. I mean, with the Hornets, um, in order for them to actually be a competitive team, they have to actually build through the draft and they have to develop players. And they haven't had the good fortune of being able to actually draft anyone as a number one draft pick as
Nope.
bad as they've been as a franchise. And the reason part of the reason they've been bad as a franchise is, you know, it's obviously some of the decisions that have been made, but
Yeah.
also when you're one of the worst teams consistently and you never get a number one pick,
Yeah.
like that makes
You're
absolutely no
cooked.
sense. You're cooked. And if you're trying to build through the draft, not getting a number one pick, especially in years where Zion Williamson was there, this year Cooper Flag is going to be
Victor
there.
Wembanyama last year.
Victor Wembanyama was there. I mean, so when you look at the guys that were selected first overall over the last several years, and where the Hornets were, the Hornets were actually one of the teams that probably
Yes.
should have gotten the number one draft pick. There's not a lot you can do, and so it's kind of disgusting to look at.
Yeah.
You know, rigged or luck. I don't think at this point how are teams that lucky?
Yeah.
Like, or how are the Hornets that unlucky? It's
It's
almost like
scripted.
the you know the it's almost like the league is just saying, you know what, they're in Charlotte.
Bump these smaller
They're
market teams.
Yeah, well, not just that. I mean, they're in Charlotte. They do have a following. People are going to come to the games,
Yeah.
and then they recognize that because it's the market, and they recognize that Charlotte, the Hornets, actually have a following, even though they really haven't had a lot to cheer about since the days of Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning.
Facts.
To be honest about
Facts.
it,
And
but
Kimba.
regardless, and Kimba,
Yeah.
and but regardless of that, you know, they still have a following. It's
Yep.
there's still a fan base that will follow this team regardless. And so when you think about the fact that they have Lamelo,
Brandon
they've got
Miller.
Brandon Miller,
Miles
they've
Bridges.
got Miles Bridges, you've
Mark
got
Williams.
yes, a young team that could be up and coming. Had you been able to add somebody like Cooper Flag, and then what you could potentially do if you added Cooper Flag, you know, some of the other pieces on that team could have potentially been traded for you to go get, you know, some veterans.
Exactly.
Um, you know, because that's what that
Or you
team needs.
sign
When
some
you
in free agency. It's like no veterans are going to want to come play for the Hornets now. Like there's
that's
no
right.
upside, unfortunately.
Exactly. Except for money. That's
Facts.
about it.
Except for money, and
And
it's like, and even to your point, Cooper Flag was the perfect fit. You have a
yes,
point
the
guard.
face
You have a two
of a
guard.
franchise.
They're literally missing a three. If they got
Yes.
Cooper Flag, your starting lineup is LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Cooper Flag, Miles Bridges, and Mark Williams. You can do something with that, even if they don't make the playoffs, like we were talking about yesterday. That's an exciting young team to watch, and that sells
They'd be
tickets.
competitive and fun to
Yes,
watch. Absolutely. And it would absolutely sell tickets.
yeah,
But I'm just now here's what I will say. As good as it seems as though the Mavericks' fortunes are, there's a lot of ifs with that organization and a
They
lot of
hope
ifs
people
with
stay
that
healthy.
particular team. That's right. I mean, we don't know what Kyrie's going to look like when he comes back. AD is our guy, but we all part of the reason, you know, I mean, listen, our feelings were hurt. We were shocked. But then, literally, the first game that he came in and played,
Injured.
at the end of the third quarter, he was injured.
He got injured in the
Um,
playing game.
that's right. And so you don't know just what his health is going to be. I know he played, you know, consistently for last year and most of this year
Yeah,
until he got traded, but you just don't know.
and
And
Clay.
then, and that's what I was going to say. And then Clay is older. As they listen, as they would say when you talk about football, basketball athletes, he's long in the tooth.
Fact.
Um, I mean, he just is. He's long in the tooth. And the truth of the matter is, you don't know what their health is going to look like. So,
Facts.
yes, it looks like it's a slam dunk, pun intended, with Cooper Flag, but you just don't know because there are a lot of ifs around that team and what ifs when it comes to the health of that team
Yep.
and what they'll look like next year. So, um, well, moving on from the draft lottery, let's talk about round two of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Um, you want to start in the East
Sure.
because, man, um, interesting to see how things are starting to play out
It is.
because of injuries. And honestly, I mean, specifically one that we'll get into from last night, but injuries throughout teams that we expected and that we honestly projected,
Yeah.
um, you know, to win out a lot of things have happened, and it's just not going in the direction that I think a lot of people thought it would.
No. Honestly, I'm at the point where we'll just go series by series. We'll go and start with the
Sure.
elephant in the room with the Knicks and Celtics. I hate to say it, but that series is chopped cheese.
Yeah, it's wraps.
Yeah, that series is wraps. It's like even last night, like
It's
and
wrapped like a mummy.
facts, it is. Like even last night, people were saying, well, what if Jason Tatum didn't get injured? Even if Jason Tatum stayed healthy, that brother had 44, 45 points. They were still losing that game. This series
That's
is
right.
cooked. And here's what I'm gonna say, man. Jalen Brunson, that brother is special. Um, I get this whole like, there's other point guards and other guards in the East, but you can't. It's gonna be hard for me to name a better guard right now in the East than Jalen Brunson. That brother's
I
special. Honestly,
I would agree.
the entire NBA. There's a couple like the Shays of the world. You can still put Luca in there, but after that, I'm like Jalen Brunson's right up there, man. That brother is special. When they need a bucket, when they need a big play, that's their guy.
Yeah.
That's who they go to.
Listen, I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna interject, and then you can go
No, you're
back
good.
to we can actually go kind of quickly through the
Yeah, yeah,
picks. But Jalen Brunson was literally posting up Derek White.
yeah.
Like
Which who does
Derek
that?
White, Derek White is taller than
Hey,
him.
they're like 6'5".
Yes, and Brunson is 6'3" with
He's strong though.
high heels on.
Yeah.
like but his strength, I mean, the way he knows how to get into his spot, get
Yep.
to his spots, I was impressed.
He's
I
very
mean, I was
methodical.
watching some of the highlights too. Jalen Rose was talking about it. He was like, whoever said that a point guard can't post somebody up?
Yep.
And I was like, very few.
Facts.
Derrick Rose used to do it. Um, Russell Westbrook did it.
Yep. A lot.
Um, but
It's
again,
rare.
those are guys. It's rare. And Derrick Rose was a super athlete, as was Russell Westbrook. I don't necessarily call Jalen Brunson a super athlete. He just knows how to get to his spots. He knows how to use his body. And I mean, like I saw him hunting for Derek White last night,
Yep.
and it was amazing.
It was
So
crazy.
yeah, I'm with you. He's right up there, and now I understand why he was named the clutch player
Yep. And
of the
what's
year.
wild is I'm like, kudos to him. He restructured his contract so like they could get Mikal Bridges and Towns and all that. I'm like, if I'm if I'm his agent, I'm going right back to the Knicks this offseason. I'm gonna be like, brother, you gotta bring some more money. That brother's
Yes, it's time
special.
to pay up.
Um,
Absolutely.
and I'm gonna say this: I get they don't have as much depth, and the only thing that concerns me right now with the run that the Knicks are on is just if dudes can stay healthy, because that's literally been the story of the playoffs so far as injuries. Just being honest.
Hmm.
But if everybody can stay healthy, like I, s- I think if they end up beating the Celtics, which like we said, we both predict that that's what's going to end up happening. I think they actually make it out the East. I see them beating either the Cavs or the Pacers. It's just, and I'm gonna say this: Mikal Bridges has been phenomenal as well on both ends. It's like
He
he's
has.
sitting there playing defense on Tatum. Granted, Tatum did have a master class last night before he got hurt. But he's been playing really good defense down the stretch, and on offense, it's like he's knocking down shots. You remember to start off the season, we were like, what happened to his jump shot? He's found it.
Yep.
He's been playing phenomenal. Karl Anthony Towns hasn't even had to do much on offense. It's like just be there, be able to rebound. And I will give credit to Karl Anthony Towns. He's become a much better defender this season compared to what I saw the last couple years he was in Minnesota. So I think
Hmm.
overall, as long as the Knicks can stay healthy, they're my pick now to make it out the East. And then shifting to the Celtics gonna have a lot of questions to answer this offseason because it's like more than likely Jason Tatum's not stiffing the court next year. They're not gonna rush his rehab process. Jalen Brown, does he get moved this offseason? I've already heard questions about, Austin Reeves, the Celtics might be interested in him. Like, does Jalen Brown get traded? Another player I thought about, I'm like, Al Horford might retire. He's older. Drew Holiday's not old, but it's not like he's 25. Derek White, he's probably going to be under contract. But another name for me is Chris Porzingis. It's like they traded for him, and once again, he's never available. And then when he is, it's like he wasn't productive at all last night. So Celtics have some questions to answer this offseason, especially given Tatum's injury now. And prayers up for Jason Tatum, man. Like, Kevin Durant came back from the Achilles injury, and I think what's going to benefit Jason Tatum is they're not going to rush him, and he's young. But I'm just
Yeah.
nervous that he might lose some of his explosiveness. I hope he doesn't, but I'm really rooting for him. And that was devastating to see. So, any last thoughts for you?
Yeah, I mean, I just think to your point, I think that series is over, especially
Yeah,
with
it's
Jason
cooked.
Tatum. I mean, the Knicks play a brand of basketball. Now, here's what I will say. Thibodeau really does have to do a better job of spreading out the minutes.
He has to.
Um, he has to, and I think so. If here's what I will say: if the Knicks end up winning this series, he's going to have to do a better job of the minutes because the Pacers will run everybody out the gym, and they will literally that because I'm jumping the gun a little bit because I think that series is over too. But I think if the Knicks end up winning their series, I think the Pacers are going to beat Cleveland. I think
Facts.
that the Knicks are going to have some problems because that team will run up and down, and because Thibodeau doesn't rest his players, I mean, he's known for that because he doesn't rest the players. I think that that would be a disadvantage for the Knicks playing the Pacers.
I agree.
Um,
And honestly, what I was
that
gonna say is too. Word to the wise, if I'm the Knicks, they better not play around in Game Five against the Celtics. They need to go and
agreed.
close out this series so they can rest.
Yes.
Because no matter even if Cleveland somehow comes back, and I'm be honest, Dan Gilbert is wild. That brother acting like it's 2016, bro. You see the
Yeah.
comments him and Garland made about like the 3-1. I'm like, unless 2017, 2018, 2016, Braun walks through that door, y'all not coming back from the Pacers, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He said
Um,
they came back from a 3-1. I said, yeah, but y'all don't have LeBron. Like, what are
brother,
you talking about?
brother, like Obama was in office when that happened, bro. Like that ain't happening no more, dog. I'm sorry.
No,
Like that was a
that's
different
not
day.
happening.
Um,
Exactly.
but like if they're smart, because I'll be honest, I think Cleveland can get another game or two, like making competitive. If I'm the Knicks, I go ahead and not play around in Game Five, go and close out that series because they're gonna need all the rest that they can get if they end up playing the Pacers. To your point,
Yes.
so, but yeah, and then kind of segueing over to the Cavs Pacers series. Honestly, my prediction is I think the Cavs actually win tonight because it's a home game, but I think the Pacers close it out in Game 6. That's
Yeah.
my opinion. I don't think that it goes Game 7 because if it goes the Game 7 and back to Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, anything can happen. So I
True.
think the Pacers going if they don't close it out tonight, I think they close it out in Indiana for Game 6.
Agreed. And what about in the West?
Oh,
Your
Western
prediction?
Conference, that Timberwolves Warriors series is chopped cheese. That junk
Yeah.
is cooked. Like people keep saying, well, what if Steph can come back Game 6? There won't be a Game 6. It's three
Agreed.
one right now. The way Anthony Edwards and them boys were playing last night, it's wraps, bruh. I don't see
Yeah, I
Anthony
think
Edwards
Anthony
playing
Edwards
around.
smells blood in the water. It's like they
Same.
say about sharks. He smells blood in the water.
Yep.
I think they're going to close it out.
I
I really
agree.
do.
I think it's over.
Yeah,
And then Thunder Nuggets, that was a huge win for them. Honestly, that was a must-win game this past Sunday.
it was.
And I will say this: what was wild was that was such a big win for the Thunder because that was like one of the lowest scoring playoff games we've ever seen.
Hmm.
Especially, I know in that first quarter, that was the lowest scoring quarter in a playoff game in NBA history. The score at the end of the first was 17-8.
That's
So,
incredible.
but the fact that the Thunder won that game, Shea only had 25. I'm saying only, it's like 25 was equivalent to like 50 points in that game, it felt like, because it was so low scoring. Um, but honestly, what won in that game was Casey Wallace and Aaron Wiggins came off the bench and just lighting it up from beyond the arc. So I fully expect that the Thunder are gonna end up winning this series. I think they end up winning the next two games and close it out in six. I don't see this going 7 games. But your thoughts?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that the Cavaliers could get a win tonight. Um, but I'm in agreement. Oh, what? But no,
You
we're not
talking about
talking about the
the
Cavaliers.
Nuggets?
The Nuggets.
Yeah,
Yes, I think that
because it's 2-2 right
Oklahoma.
now.
That's right. I think
Yeah,
Oklahoma City wins the next game.
hmm
I actually do.
I agree.
Um, and if they win the next game, then I think they close it out. But I do believe that it will go 7 games, and I think that with it going 7 games, OKC will close it out. I think Jokic is worn out. I really
Yeah,
do.
he's tired.
Um, they didn't do a good job of making sure that they had a backup center
Yeah,
in the off season, and it showed.
yeah,
And I think that's part of his frustration. Some of the rumors were around defense, and that's why the coach got let
yeah. Mike
go.
Malone.
But yeah, Mike Malone. But I think that a lot of that was, you know, Jokic is tired, and the style of basketball that he plays when you have a team that runs up and down the court, after a while, man, you can see him. I mean, he is. There are times when he is literally laboring to get up and down the court.
And he's asked to
So
do so much on offense. It's like you want him to bring the ball up the floor, facilitate the offense. It's like, bruh, like I'm not trying to give Jokic an excuse not to play defense, but I'm like, if anybody has an excuse to take off on defense, it is him.
well, yeah,
Granted,
he and his brother from the same country. Apparently, they don't teach you how to play defense
yeah,
because Luca doesn't play any defense either.
yeah,
And he doesn't have that excuse with the Lakers where he had to do everything.
yep.
Um, so I need to see an uptick in his. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. I'm jumping all over the place,
No, you're
but I
good.
need to see an uptick in how he plays defense because the excuse when he was with Dallas was, well, they had to do so much on offense. No, that's not going to be the excuse with the Lakers.
Facts.
So, and I think Jokic is in that same boat. He does have to do a lot. If they do some upgrades in the offseason, then he's got to play better defense. Because if that rumor was true that he made comments about that, I'm like, brother, do you have a mirror at your house?
Facts.
Like you. I mean, granted, I'm sure it's got to be a really tall mirror, but you need to put a mirror in the house and look
Facts.
at yourself.
Yep.
As that little girl that made it famous, worry about yourself.
Yep.
You drive.
Yep.
You worry about yourself. If that was true, that he actually said, defense is a problem. I'm like, well, brother, look in the mirror.
Exactly.
Um, so I think that because of those things, OKC will close it out
Yeah.
at home.
I agree.
Yeah.
Um, Last NBA topic that we have, because there's been a lot of talk about Giannis the past couple of days. I'll keep this quick. Where do you want to see Giannis? Give me like 2 to 3 teams that you will want to see Giannis on.
Well, where I want to see him,
Yeah,
well, I want to
I
see
got
him in
2.
LA.
Yeah, that's one of mine.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see him in LA. The other place where I think it would be filthy is Houston.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, that would be that would be insane to me. I
yeah,
mean, pair him up. Listen, when you think about who they have, I know who your favorite is for Houston to go out and get. I know that's Booker. I know
no,
we've had
KD,
that
KD,
discussion. Okay, D.
yeah,
Okay,
KD,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
No, Booker is to Detroit.
yeah,
That's right. We
Detroit, yeah,
talked
yeah,
about
yeah,
that. Yeah, yeah. So I think Giannis with LA. The other team is Houston. I
yeah.
think those are the two teams where if he went to them, because here's the thing, I don't necessarily believe that the Bucks are going to trade him within the
Conference. I
Eastern
don't see
Conference.
that. I think the only
Yeah.
way they do that, it's got to be an offer that blows them out the water. Like, I
Yes.
think it would have to be like a Jalen Brown, Derek White, like a package like that with a bunch of
Yeah.
draft picks. Like, I don't think it. I think it would take a crazy haul for them to actually trade him within the Eastern Conference. To your point,
Now, by you saying what you just said, though, with assets, I know one of the teams that you're going to pick. I just figured out who you're going to say the other team is going to be.
you might be shocked. So the Lakers
It's
are my,
OKC.
actually that was like my two B.
Okay.
Of course, number one is the Lakers, and here's what I'm gonna say. This whole narrative of here's I'm just being honest, just being realistic. We don't have enough assets outside of Austin Reeves to compete with like some of these other teams as far as the trade package is concerned. But to your point, if Giannis says, "Oh, I want to go play for the Lakers," and kind of forces his way in there, to your point, it's like that benefits us in a sense because it's like they're not going to want to trade him within conference, like we were just talking
Right.
about. So there is still a path for Giannis to end up on the Lakers, but really it's up to him. Like the ball's in his court. He literally needs to
Yep.
walk in there and say, "Hey, I want to go to the Lakers." I think that's the only way that happens.
Yep.
Realistically, though, the other team I see outside of the Thunder, it's like the Thunder have draft picks until I have kids. So
Hmm.
they're set up for the future. So that's why I include the Thunder. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the team that I could see it happening for is the San Antonio Spurs. And Lord have mercy, if you can pair up Giannis Antetokounmpo with that Wemby monster, people won't score. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the average points in the paint that the Spurs will give up per game is maybe 5. Dudes aren't scoring in that paint, bro, with Giannis and Wemby. And then people
No.
forget they got that D Fox monster. They just got that D
Mm.
Fox monster. So,
Yeah.
and now think about this. You have Stephon Castle that you could throw in a trade package. You know, I have the number 2 pick in this year's draft, which I still don't understand how that happened. You then still have dudes like Keldon Johnson. You still have Devin Vassell. Like you still have young talent that you could trade that might be enticing for the Bucks, especially long term. And then think about the plethora of draft picks that they're gonna have, even outside of this year's pick. So I think if they don't want if they want to trade outside of the the Eastern Conference, I would love to see that brother Giannis paired up in San Antonio. And that's the thing too. For
Interesting.
Giannis, that not only gives him a chance to win, you have young talent, you have Victor Wembanyama for crying out loud. And then think about this, the brand of basketball that the Spurs play. They always play the right way. And I feel like Giannis would love that. So, of course, in a perfect world, I want to see that brother play with that Luka monster. But
Yeah.
realistically, if we're just looking at a team that actually has the trade assets to be able to do that, that's not in the East, it's easily the San Antonio Spurs. No doubt in my mind. And they got a new coach now. So I'm like, this will be a perfect start for, brand new coach for Giannis and, brand new market. It's like, think about it. It's been rumored that he wants to play in a city with no state income tax. Come on, bro. Texas. So we'll see
Texas.
what happens.
Absolutely. So it's San Antonio, Dallas. What other
Oh,
Texas
please don't
teams?
say Dallas. No, sir. No, sir.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You
So
talk
it's
about
San
Houston.
Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. That's why, one of the reasons I mentioned Houston, because to your point, he said a state that doesn't have
Yeah.
taxes. Um, I'm telling you, man, Houston would be an ideal fit for him.
Facts.
So, but I see what you're doing with San Antonio.
Yep.
Um, all right, one other quick topic is, and listen, we're Tar Heel fans. Everybody knows that. We were a little bit perturbed with Deja Kelly, especially all the talk when she left about her doing all the heavy lifting, et cetera, et cetera. She got cut or got waived by the Aces.
Yeah, I'm baffled by
Um,
that.
I don't understand that. I mean, we're talking about there are some things about the WNBA. You and I love it. I mean, there are days when we prefer to watch the
Yeah.
WNBA than any
There's
other
still
sport.
work to do
To be
though.
There's still work to do, and some of these players that are being waived, like Deja Kelly, um, could easily be Chelsea Gray's backup.
Facts.
Um, and especially in those games where Chelsea Gray is not shooting or is not
Facts.
scoring.
Facts.
Um, I'm just gonna say this: Chelsea Gray sometimes reminds me of Draymond Green. I'm like, do you work on your in the off season? Do you work on your game? I know you're supposed to be the point guard and all that good stuff, but my God, can you shoot a lick?
Yep.
Um, so I Deja Kelly was balling, and
Yeah.
so I know this is really kind of weird to have this topic, but we're rooting for her. There's some other players as well. Bree Hall.
Yeah,
How in the
those were the
world is
two I
Bree
was like,
Hall?
come on, bro.
Come on, man. Come on, man. WNBA, do better. Come on, man.
And we've talked about this for years. I'm like, I know they just expanded. They have the Valkyries now, out in San Francisco, and I'm like, they need to keep further expanding. And I saw
Yes,
someone on Twitter talk about. I'm like, they need to honestly look into a developmental league because
they
there's
do.
no reason why Deja Kelly, Alyssa Utsby, Bree Hall, goddamn from North Carolina, like
Carolina.
the
Yeah,
fact that some of these players aren't on an actual roster. And think about it, it's like you don't make a WNBA team. There's no alternative. It's like you better
right.
you better go and get your passport ready. Get
Pretty
that.
much.
Like just being honest, like there's no other
Yeah,
option for
get that real
professional women's
ID.
basketball. No, no, that's insane.
I'm just saying.
No, the real ID is
Get
crazy.
that real ID, brother.
But think about it, it's like that's unfortunate. They grinded out, in the college circuit, worked hard. It's like even first of all, the fact that Deja Kelly was undrafted is insane. But then on
Yes.
top of that, it's like to not even make a roster when you were hooping. It's not like we're just trying to have her be out of pity be on a roster. It's like she was
No,
balling, she was hooping, she was a perfect fit. So it's
he
like
earned it.
they need to keep expanding. I've said this for the longest. You need to bring back a team in Charlotte. There's some
Oh,
other markets where it's like, bruh, you need to have a team there. Like, why does Miami not have why does Miami
a
not have
WNBA
a
team.
WNBA team? It just
Why
it
does
doesn't.
Charlotte not have
Yeah.
one again? Because the Sting. I mean, Don Staley played for the Sting.
And
Come
think
on,
about
man.
this, it's like, bruh, people love basketball in North Carolina. Just back
Yes.
to the Charlotte example. I'm like, you can't tell me that team's gonna be worse than the Hornets. I'm sorry. With all due
Listen, I
respect.
would probably go watch them play over the
Oh,
Hornets.
I buy season tickets. No trouble.
I'm just right, like seriously.
I'm telling
So
you. They gotta do
yeah,
better though.
nah, they've got to do better. They've got to do better. All right, we're gonna wrap. this episode, and we're going to go to what we typically end the episode with moving the needle. Jameson, what's moving the needle for you this week?
Mine is quick. It's funny. We're just talking about the WNBA. Mine is actually the WNBA season officially starting this Friday. So I'm really excited
Mhm.
for to see what this year brings for the
Okay.
W.
Okay, that's a good one. So mine is a lot of our listeners probably don't know, but Jameson and I are also really big boxing fans, and my move in the needle is the Crawford Canelo fight. Terrence Crawford and Canelo, they'll be fighting. Some news just came out. It's going to be in September, but it was initially scheduled to be on on a Friday, September the 12th. And now I think as of today, they've now said it's going to take place on Saturday, September the 13th, rather than that Friday. And what I'm hearing also is that the location is also now up in the air. But that fight is moving the needle for me because, Terrence Crawford has to literally make a significant jump. He's going up to 168 pounds to face Canelo Alvarez. And so for me, that's going to be a big deal. I still take Terrence Crawford simply because I just feel like he has all the tools. But I will say, with him making this much of a jump, Canelo is used to fighting at this weight. So I want to see how that plays out, but I'm going to be excited to see that fight. Jameson, we're going to get that one,
Oh
no
yeah,
doubt.
no question.
So that's my move in the needle for the week.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
all right. Well, we're going to wrap this week's episode. We appreciate everybody listening in. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Y'all take care.